Hello and welcome, 2nd of May, it's about 8:30 in the morning. It's a bit dull day today but no wind, which is good. Still a distinct lack of rain. I haven't put a video up for a couple of weeks. I've recorded some stuff when it was all nice and sunny. But it was dull, it went something like this.
Look at these onions.
And then the battery on my camera ran out. So I was having a day out yesterday. I decided to record some video to try and link together the bits of video I had. Right, you're either in it or you're not. Hello. Hello. Hello and welcome, 1st of May. That just made the original video look even more dull.
Look at these onions.
So I decided to bin most of that. Some of it might get resurrected in a bit, but I'll try not to overcompensate today. But let's have a rundown of what's going on. So at the top end of the plot here, I've got my hugel culture bed that I put in a couple of weeks back, and my strawberries in drawers, or drawberries as I like to call them. Lack of rain. Main problem is keeping that hugel culture bed moist. It's got rotten wood underneath, trying to keep that moist so it can rot down further. Tip 1 in preserving water: fix the holes in your watering cans. Seamless fixing there. Some of the strawberries have got flowers on, so all is good here. So the next bed I've got here is the fullest bed at the minute. I've got my onion sets I put in November, Sensu Yellow and Red Electric. The red ones have caught up, so that's okay. Spinach, that's been in the ground since last summer. Cut that right back to the ground a month ago, and that's all grown back in the last 4 weeks, so that's ready to pick. That's all good. Broad beans, put the beans in the ground in November. They've been out over winter. Flowers are dying back on that, so broad beans incoming, I think. So yeah, all is well here. This bed's empty, nothing to see here. Move on. Oh, this next bed, some mistakes were made. This half is empty at the minute. Back there I've put in my second early potatoes, and I've got some self-seeded leeks at the back there doing nicely. Sweet peas. Let's watch me build a frame.
Dig. Dave. Dig.
Dig.
So I sowed the sweet pea seeds in January. They've been the protection of the greenhouse all of that time. They were sort of about that big, ready to come out. Once I built the frame, I just put them straight into the plot. I didn't get them used to any kind of draft, wind-wise whatsoever. Just straight out in dry, windy weather. Some of them were looking a bit rough. I think most of them are going to pull through. If I was to do it all again, I would acclimatise them to some kind of outside experience before putting them straight in here to fend for themselves. But this should be alright. Weird onions, anyone? So this bed might look slightly messy at the back, but that's where I've got my first early potatoes, and I'm waiting for them to come up so I know exactly where they are before I weed, so I don't weed the tops of any potato plants coming up. And we've got, anyone who's watched previous videos, left a couple of onions in to see what would happen. One of them just went rotten. The other one didn't go to seed last year. It just grew into about 8 new onions over winter. So I've been keeping an eye on that. I was going to pick them and see what they tasted like, but development, they have started to grow seed pods at the top. So I'm going to leave them in to develop some flowers and some seeds. So that's what can happen with onions when you leave them in the ground. On to the next bed, garlic. So the garlic is doing fine, touch wood. Should be another good year for those. Onions, I sowed the seeds of these in January. Again, I made the same mistake as the sweet peas. They were in the protection of the greenhouse. I just brought them straight out, put them straight out into the plot. Was a bit touch and go with these for a little bit, but they seem to be doing okay. The back of this bed is empty, but there's some potato plants coming up from potatoes I must have left in the ground from previous years, but yeah, it's looking okay here too. Right, onto fruit zone. So the blossom on the apple, the cherry and the pear trees kind of peaked. It's all starting to come off now, which is a shame, but I do have a load of footage of when it was sunny and when it was in its prime. Let's have a blossom break. So here we are in the pond area. I've got my V-shaped wall of raspberries, mostly raspberries, some green alkanet here. There's some weeds in there, but as long as they look nice, I don't mind. So we've got some raspberries under the fruit trees. They're the same type of raspberries as these, autumn fruiting raspberries, but the ones under the fruit trees are just cut right back to the ground like you're supposed to. The ones in this wall I left them about 50-60 centimetres high, just the old wood, so they're a bit high, a bit more developing what will become raspberries on top. Goji berries, I did have some, had no greenery on it, just wooden twigs of goji berry cuttings that I'd got off another plot holder who said just whack them in the ground, it'll be fine. So in winter, I can't remember exactly where, it was definitely winter, put them in the ground. Some of them are definitely showing greenery now, so they should be alright. Got some pots over there. About 4 weeks ago I bought some horseradish thongs, which I didn't know was a thing, but it is. Let's have a look back when I was getting them out of the packet. So I picked up some horseradish thongs, as they're called, and some asparagus. Let's have a look when we open them up. To the horseradish. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Look, they're still alive, but they've started to sprout. So I'm going to put them in the ground. I'm going to put them in a pot. Mostly because I don't know where I'm going to put them in the allotment. But they do spread, the horseradish. I have red. So I'm going to put them in a pot, even initially, just to get them in the ground and keep them alive. Asparagus. I've read up about these. These don't, probably better in the ground than a pot, but again, I don't know where I'm going to put them in the plot. There's a long-term commitment to asparagus. Long-term commitment, so look, that one's still alive, which is good. So I can almost imagine that's asparagus, which it is. So I'm going to put them in a pot. It's ready to dig a hole and put a little line of soil and the roots go either side of that and that poking up. So I'm just going to put them in a pot till I work out where they're going to go in the plot and to keep them alive. In the meantime, asparagus tip. I did knock that off when I put it in the ground, so no asparagus yet. popping up out of the soil. But that's a long-term commitment, isn't it? That's a long-term commitment. The horseradish is in full leaf, all good. What's next? Oh, mistakes have been made in the greenhouse. Before we get onto that though, the question on every single person's lips at this minute, I am sure the issue of the day, if you have built a wooden frame to put some netting over to protect your cabbages and cauliflowers, can you attach that netting with a stapler? Yes, you can. Let's rest easy there, can't we? So the chillies in here, I potted them on and moved them out into the greenhouse 3 weeks ago, something like that. They haven't grown since. The ones that I've got at home are now twice as big as these. Twice as big, literally. What's going on? These are developing sort of flowers and stuff, so they seem to be alright. They're surviving but not thriving. And three things that stop a chilli growing. Is it warm enough? Well, it's definitely warm enough during the day. At night it might be a bit cooler than the ones I've got at home, but it should be alright. Have they got any pests, diseases? No, absolutely fine. Watering. I've been watering them too much. The soil is just waterlogged, which isn't good for them. I've overcompensated. The greenhouse is new to me. I am new to the greenhouse. It is new to me. I've only just built it. I'm getting used to how hot it gets in here, how quickly things dry out, and I've been overcompensating. I've been coming down every couple of days, giving them a right good watering, and it's too much. The soil is just too damp. So I think chilies like, let's say, a good watering, but then leave the soil to dry out before you water them again. So they should be alright, but I'm definitely going to water them less than I have been. They'll be alright, whether they'll catch up or not is another matter, but should be alright. Lessons learned. So lessons learned. Cabbage and cauliflower, they've been out under this cage for a few days, getting used to a bit of wind. They will stay out there for maybe another week before I put them out into the plot. Other lessons learned: if you're trying to record some video clips on a day out to try and rescue a previously dull video, make sure the people you are with are as committed to the professionalism of the task as you. All good so far, let's see what's next. Oh, it's you can't go from one area around to the other. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe, send me a comment, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.